And here we are. Yeah, Dawn, check it out. Where is it? Here it is. Dawn, this is yours, all right? Apologies. These goat cases are like 30 quid. The nanotechnology, you stick them onto walls and like flat surfaces if you want to do a self-tape as an actor, or if you're a vlogger, or just whatever you are, if you're just vain and you want to take a load of selfies. Dawn, this is actually yours. Come to the Acts on This meetup in August, and you can get it off me there and then. It won't get lost in the post then. That's the agreement we came to today. So yeah, thank you for your patience. But that is yours. Excellent. I can see Alex Hewitt has joined us on Facebook. Alex, good to see you. It's nice that we're doing Periscope Live and Facebook Live, mixing it up a little bit. Good evening to the man who's fast become my role model. Who said that? Who said that? I missed who that was, but thanks very much. Massively appreciate that. That's very flattering to be anybody's role model. Hi, Lucy. See, I've got my phone plugged in here tonight because stupidly I didn't bloody charge it up, did I? So I can't see the comments that well. Now that I'm back in the UK, I can finally join. Who said that and where have you been? You'll notice, don't worry about this, I've got a coffee here. There's a fly flying around. I had to cover it up with an envelope there just so it didn't get on it. That was me being a lick arse, says Bobby. Bobby, appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. Right, so tonight, guys, basically, this is where I open the floor. Okay, so if you're watching for the first time, or if you're listening on the audio experience for the first time, you're like, I've no idea what's going on. They're talking about coffee envelopes and goat cases. That's a phone case, by the way, if you're on the audio experience. A goat's case is nothing to do with goats. We don't have goats that we want to put in cases. But yeah, if you're here for the first time, what I do is I scope and I broadcast live on Facebook now, so we dual cast twice a week, once on a Monday night, once on a Wednesday night. We do something called Motivation and Mind Hacks on a Monday night, which is tonight, which is basically a scope that's going to ultimately help you get further in your life and acting career faster. If you're an actor, this is great for you. If you're not, still stay on anyway, because there's going to be a lot of lessons that we talk about, and you can apply to anything in life, really. Things about being more productive, being more motivated, getting shit done in your life, and having success. On a Wednesday night, I do a book club, but on the first Monday of the month, we change it up a bit. And rather than me doing like a scheduled, kind of planned presentation on an area of high performance or mindset or productivity or motivation, I just throw the floor open to everybody. So anyone who's watching on here now, on Periscope, on Facebook, on Twitter, if you're watching on Twitter, this is like an open Q&A for literally anything. If you've got any questions about acting, the industry, any business type things within the industry, voiceover, high performance, mindset, hacking productivity, hacking mindset, hacking motivation, anything at all, then this is, if you've got questions and you think I can help you, then this is the session where I will try my absolute best. Let's have a look. I can see George is just tuning in on Facebook as well. Good evening. Thank you very much. So yeah, basically, the floor's completely yours, guys. What I'll do is I'm going to focus on Periscope for a minute. 'Cause like I say, the comments don't last on Periscope. They just fade away. And on Facebook, I will dip in and out every few minutes because they do stay on Facebook. So it's not like we're going to lose anything if I miss it there. So fire away, basically. I would hugely appreciate as well everybody watching this, because I am now scoping and Facebook Live. And if you liked the Facebook page, that'd be really helpful. My hubby was playing solitaire on the phone and said you popped up on his screen. There you go. So that's just how I roll, Lucy. Basically, maybe that's a Facebook advertisement for Bulletproof Actor. Big shout out to everybody who's registering for the full Bulletproof Actor program this week. Registration closes on Friday at bulletproofactor.com. I've had the biggest intake of students on that I've ever had. I've only ever launched it twice before. I get people to do intro videos when they sign up as well in like a private Facebook group. Some of the people are brilliant. Well, all of them are brilliant, but some of them are hilarious. We're going to have an amazing 2 months. If you want to sort your mindset out, literally bulletproof your psychology to get further faster in the acting career and life, this will change your life, I assure you. Go to bulletproofactor.com, watch the video, read all about it. Would love to work with you. So yeah, would hugely appreciate you liking the Facebook page, because if you like the Facebook page at facebook.com/actonthisTV, you'll get a notification every time I sort of schedule a Facebook Live session in now. So it's that's really cool, so that you're never going to miss anything. Dawn said the intro videos are great, Ross. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, I put some testimonials up on the Facebook group as well today for Bulletproof Actor from some people who went through it last year. Rachel Shenton, who you'll know from Mitzi from Hollyoaks, and also Bill Bradshaw, who recently just did a guest lead in Emmerdale. They talk about their Bulletproof Actor experience, so you can hear it from the horse's mouth there. So who wants to fire first? What are you struggling with? Anything? What do you want to talk about? Anything I can help you with? Social media, maybe marketing, anything to do with any business within the industry, anything in life in general, as in like motivation and productivity or mindset, or anything else. Basically, you know what? There's pretty much nothing off limits, to be honest. I'm going to be here for an hour until 10 o'clock. Just, fire away, basically, if anybody's got anything. Jason's here as well. Jason Broderick. Ross, you're a Spartan. Do you ever stop working? Never. The hustle is real, Jason. Literally. No, honestly, I don't. But I don't feel like anything that I do really is work. I mean, some of the stuff, the technical aspects of what I do when I'm doing a launch like Bulletproof, or I'm like writing articles and stuff on actsonthis.tv, or I'm editing stuff, can be laborious sometimes. But man, I've worked some shit jobs in my time, like in between acting roles. Thankfully, I don't have to do any of that anymore. But 10 years ago, when I look at my life and where I was actually at, working for minimum wage in a really shit shop, and I couldn't get out of there, man, this is just a dream. What's your opinion on showreel for kids with the odd swearing in? Good for the industry? As in, so if it was a child's reel with swearing in, is that what we're talking about? Because this applies whether it's a child or not, all right? One thing that I just think in terms of, you should be able to gauge this just in life anyway, all right, whether something is going to be offensive or not, and whether the language, Melinda, good evening, is actually necessary. Okay, I think like lazy writing really annoys me, because I think a lot of lazy writers, you don't get it that much in TV these days. It's great, good writers don't need to just use expletives for shock value or anything like that. If it's necessary, it's necessary. If the scene justifies it, then it's absolutely fine. Nobody's going to be offended by it. If people are just throwing around the F word, and you know what, the only word that I would really, really, for an adult or, God, particularly a child, I would really consider not having in your reel is statistically the most offensive word in the English language, which I'm not going to say. It will never come out of my mouth, but it begins with C. It ends in T. It's a horrific word. And that's the one that can completely kill the atmosphere. If somebody drops a C-bomb anywhere, it's the one that can just, be highly offensive. If you're just saying shit and the F word, you can get away with that in a show reel if it warrants it. But I would just be... I would be very wary of the other word. The word that Steve says he loves, Steve, mate, I hate that word. What if you do it with a posh accent? I still don't think it counts. I just think it's like, it's just lazy. Chris Stone's here, a C-bomb. Don't you drop in any C-bombs, Chris. But yeah, I think if it's a well-written scene, and it's delivered properly, and it's not absolutely littered with it, then I think you're absolutely fine. Was a bit worried. No, honestly, I wouldn't worry about it at all if it's legit. Just gauge it on whether you would be offended or not. If you've got social calibration, that's something that like people need to develop. EQ, emotion, rather than IQ, as in intelligence quota. EQ, emotional quota. In terms of actually being socially aware of actually going, you just know, don't you? I'm sure when you watch a scene back, if you feel like, oh, that's a bit too much, it probably is too much. If you don't feel that, then, you're probably all right. But I would have something contrasting either side of that scene as well. So maybe you want to sandwich the swearing scene in between comedy and something, something else. I hope you're having a wonderful day, Lucinda. Somebody just said, that's amazing. Lovely to say. The waiting after an audition is a killer. Yeah, Lucy, yeah, the wait, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, to turn off after an audition, but it's something that you absolutely... not a problem, Mel. Not a problem, Francine. That's Mel who asked that question, I think. In terms of switching off between auditions, the thing that I find that helps me most is focusing on the next opportunity. So when you've just had an audition, I think sometimes this thing. So we spent the last month, didn't we, talking about the book, The Slight Edge, on the book club, and The Slight Edge was all about doing the things, making consistently good decisions, little decisions, but consistently good decisions. And they take you from failure up to survival. And then what unfortunately happens is the same things that take you from failure to survival that would take you to success if you kept doing them. People stop doing them. So it's like, for instance, if you're going on a diet and you go, okay, right, I've got 2 stone to lose, but you lose a stone and you And you go, oh, I feel a bit better at myself, actually. Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, maybe I will just have that pizza, or I will just treat myself to that thing. And then you stop making those good decisions. You start sliding back down into failure. Actors can do this as well. They get one audition and they feel great about the industry again. Who's had this? Give me some hearts. If you've had this, you've gone through a really barren period in your acting career. And then suddenly one call from your agent, a decent audition, you feel back in the game. You're like, yes, I'm back. And then very, very quickly after that audition, you come back down into the failure zone again. And that's because you've kind of rested on your laurels there. So I think the easiest way to get over that bit between auditions when you're like waiting for one is not to rest on the fact that you might have got this one. Even if you have got this one, go and get the next one. Any huge or tiny company will let you know if you're not successful. Why doesn't acting? Time. It's all to do with time. Most huge, busy companies for any job role might see, I don't know, 3-4 candidates. If you're seeing, well, imagine if you're interviewing ultimately at any one time for 25 different roles, and you were seeing maybe 10 people for each role. You can't ring 250 people to say, oh yeah, they were all right, but they didn't get the part this time. When you come into this industry, that's what you're getting yourself in for. You're coming into it with your eyes open. Deal with it. It's only, it's not going to change. And the casting director is not going to employ, on the budgets that these guys get paid, an assistant to just phone and placate your agent to go, oh, well, Daniel, yeah, he was actually really good this time, but didn't get it. It's pointless. It's a complete waste of time. Daniel shouldn't even be waiting for that phone to ring. He should be focusing on his next opportunity. Otherwise, he's already lost. So that would be my take on that. I'm going to come to Tony's question on Facebook. Tony, what do you say here, mate? He says, question about goal setting. How often do you find yourself knowing the exact result you want versus starting and then figuring things out as you go? I found there are times I know exactly what I want, but other times I have an idea but want to dive in first and then figure it out. Let me know if you can clarify this. So goal setting, I'm big on, Tony. Goal setting, yeah, you've got to be prepared. And people are uncomfortable with this when they set their goals. They're unprepared sometimes to move the goalpost because they think that's either cheating or that's not, doing the thing they set out to do. Your initial goal that you set is ultimately just a barometer. It's like a compass for the direction that you are going in. And then there's quite a bit of play involved after that. If you were going out on any adventure, mate, you were going to see, or when a pilot takes off. Okay, so a pilot can take off from Manchester and he's going to Chicago, Tony, right, where you live. And along the way, that plane, it's set like on a pre-set path. It knows exactly where it's going to go. You can put the plane in autopilot. But what happens? Gets over a certain point of the Atlantic. It's like, shit, there's a load of turbulence here, man. We're going to have to go up. So what they'll try and do a lot of the time is planes will try and, fly above the turbulence, or I guess around it, depending on, if there's a storm or that kind of thing. Goal setting is exactly the same. You set off in the direction you're going in, and it might be to earn a certain amount of money by a certain date, have a certain amount of roles by a certain date, get a new agent by a certain date. But man, you've got to be prepared to move those goalposts. You've got to be prepared to reset those goals, even replace those goals for something else. I did a whole goal setting webinar as a bonus for some people, and that's on this.tv. You know what? Anyone. This was like a little secret webinar, but anyone could go and watch this. If you're watching now, or you're listening to this on a replay or something like that, I'm invested in you because you're spending time with me. If you go to actonthis.tv/BYE, so for buy, it actually stands for best year ever. It was a bonus webinar that I did with just 2 people or 3 people, I think. I did a live call with them, and the replay is at actonthis.tv/buy, BYE. Go and have a look, because that's like an hour and a bit webinar exactly on being able to adapt your goals, halfway through the year. So I did it in June because that's the messy middle of the year. A lot of people set their goals at Christmas or in the new year, and then by June, everything's gone to shit. And you know what? That's just life. That is normal. And a lot of people then, unfortunately, give up on the second half of the year and go, oh, well, I'll start again next year. Pointless. There's so many ways to reset and get back on track. So that webinar at actonthis.tv/BYE will tell you how you do that. 5 steps to actually doing that and getting back on track. And one of those steps is to replace those goals. Pull out some of those goals if they're no longer applicable, or you actually, you're no longer passionate about it. It's like, actually, you know what? The reason that I set out to do this doesn't apply anymore. It's course correction, says Chris, is a day-to-day normal part of filmmaking. Yeah, so Chris is an awesome filmmaker. Chris has told me some stories before where like he's set out on a shoot and Chris knows what he wants from that shoot. But man, actors have turned up late, they've not turned up at all, people have been ill, people have turned up with children on set that he wasn't expecting, costumes have failed, props have failed, cameras have failed, sound has failed, and this guy like still, don't know how he does it, but still comes out on top and course corrects, his way. So if you're setting goals, and everybody here listening to this on the audio experience or watching on the replay or watching live right now, everybody should be setting goals for themselves. Who's this? Quizette? Oh, I can't read your name. You have to tell... Hi, though. Said hello. You have to tell me your real name. I can't read usernames on here. But yeah, you should be big on goal setting. If you want to achieve anything just anything in life, you need to be setting yourself very specific goals. I set 6 goals and achieved 3 so far, says Dawn. Pretty happy with that. Good on you, Dawn. It's awesome. It's always about looking for solutions as well, as Chris says there. It's not about focusing on what's gone wrong. It's focusing on fixing it. Mahaba is your name. There you go. An unusual name, nice name. Never met anybody with that name before. Welcome. So yeah, goal setting's a big one. So what other questions have we got coming in? Anybody got any other questions? What's Jason saying here? Nothing. Carpet. I don't know what you're talking about on Facebook. Someone just wrote carpet. So helpful, Ross. Pleasure, Tony. Not a problem. I should download a plugin for comment filtering. Do you know what? That'd be so useful. I've tried to, so I actually use something for these broadcasts. It's supposed to collate comments from Periscope and from Facebook into one app. Doesn't work. Just like the comments come through either so late or just not at all. So far I found it better to just monitor them in real time. But if anybody's got any foolproof software for monitoring comments if you're dual casting to Facebook and Periscope, hit me up, Ross at axonthis.tv. I would love to know what that piece of software is. A word that starts with C and ends in T. That's why Jason wrote carpet. I get it now. So yeah, anyone else? Do you think sole or non-sole agencies? What do you mean sole? Is that like, maybe that's an American term? We don't have that term in the UK. Sole or non-sole, as in like that would be exclusive representation off just one agent. Is that what we're talking about? Fanny, I am getting your message. Well, I've just seen this one. The message you've just sent there is the first one that I've seen. You just send through. Sole or non-sole? Okay, so that's what you mean. So yeah, well, I don't know where you're from, but in the UK, the decent agents in the UK are pretty much exclusives anyway. So my voiceover agent, for instance, in the UK is absolutely like exclusive. I can't do any other work through any other agency for voiceover. If I'm not in Vision, it all has to go through them. Equally for my acting agent, anything I do in Vision where I'm seen has to go through my acting agent. There are some extras agencies in the UK and background agencies where you can be represented by more than one. And that's absolutely fine. They kind of almost like work on a freelance basis where these agents are very flexible. They just text you like, are you available to do some background work tomorrow? Text back for yes. And they send these big group texts out to like 300 people. And the first 100 people who text yes back, get the gig effectively. But in terms of quality representation, if you're an actor, and you're looking for decent roles, in the UK, it's all exclusive. So you sign to one and one only, and you might sign to a big agency in the UK that you're then covered by a couple of people within that. My agent's got 2. My agents, so the agency I'm with has got 2 agents within it who both work on my behalf, but they're part of the same outfit. So it's not like I could then go and sign with somebody else, and it'd get very messy at that point. So yeah, in America maybe it works a different way. Tony Rossi might be able to help us out on the American front. Steve says his is one and one only. It is it just makes business sense, doesn't it? I think in America they do because in America they do 7-7-7 on the percentages. So it's like 21% you give away of your earnings, and 7 will go to your agent. You have a manager in America as well, and then 7 must go to somebody else. Tony, man, LA and Hollywood is not my forte in terms of the business. It's different in Chicago. Extra work is all on Facebook here, says Tony. Interesting, isn't it? Social media's mixing it up, man. It's powerful. It's the way the world is going. We're no longer kind of doing anything in real life anymore. It's all digital. So what's Alex saying? Let's have a look. Alex has got a question on Facebook. Some agents are okay with you having one northern agent and one southern agent. I still don't know any quality agents that are happy with that, Alex, though, in terms of like, decent agents who you would want to be with for your career. And so if you're just starting off and, maybe they're putting you forward for walk-on threes that we have in the UK. A walk-on three in the UK is like where you're not officially cast, but you're allowed to say, I think, up to 13 words before you're actually specifically kind of labelled as cast then. Agencies that take you to that kind of level might be happy with you having more than one, but I don't know a single one. You couldn't go into Curtis Brown or United or any of the big agents, in London and go, yeah, I'm with such and such a body up north and I'll be with you down here, because they're like, the UK ain't that big ultimately. Maybe in America, if you were like, right, I've got these guys out in Atlanta for me and these are my guys in LA, New York might work, but not in the UK. We're only the size of a pea. It's easy to get, but a lot of actors confuse it with progress in the career. It's more of a paycheck for extra work. Yeah, I guess so, Tony. I mean, I think everybody, when they're first starting out, I'm not going to knock extra work or background work at all to begin with. I think anybody who's entering the industry should have a go. Like if you don't know what it's like to be on a set, you learn so much doing background work because there's no pressure on you initially as well. You get to learn how it works, how it operates, who the people are, who calls the shots, who a runner is, who a first AD is, a second AD, the director. You get to see how they move actors around. Hello. What? I can't read these usernames. Like someone had murder in their username then. Good evening, though, or afternoon, wherever you're viewing from. But yeah, Murders Accepsy. Crazy username. Good evening, though. But yeah, so you get to learn a lot of the lingo on a set as well. So you'll hear, directors and first ADs shouting things out that, it's one of those things. It's easy if you know it. And a lot of people get on a set and then just, pretend they understand what's going on because they're too afraid to ask. And then they get themselves into trouble when people, they suddenly realise they don't know what they're talking about. So they might, shout something out that's, a bit of jargon, bit of industry jargon at speed. People are like, what the hell does that mean? Doesn't actually apply these days. At speed was something back in the day when the film reel actually had to get to speed before it was recorded properly and all the sound was working. Nowadays it's all digital, but they still shout it anyway. Keeping it real. Is it true you need a London address if looking for a London-based agent, says Dawn? Not all the time. It's an interesting one. So London agents would prefer you to have a London base, Dawn, because if you've got a London base, then it's a lot quicker for you to get in and out of London. So if they call you for an audition at a minute's notice, you can get in, whereas if they're like, shit, Dawn's up north, it's going to be really difficult for us to get down here. Ultimately, they can't maximise your efficiency. It's always handy, and I'm not saying lie, I'm not advocating lying, but definitely tell if you are going for a London agent and you're dead set on that. Make sure you've got like a mate in London or someone like that who you can basically say, look, if I ever get an audition, can I come and stay with you? Or if I needed something at the last minute, can I crash with you? Because effectively then you can kind of say you've got a London base, And if you're in the Midlands, just say you've got a London base. If you're in the North, don't lie too much about it. But the Midlands is, it's an hour out of London, isn't it, really, if you get a Virgin train. So yeah, it helps, Dawn, definitely. It's not absolutely essential. I think what happens is, when it's not essential is when you've already been down to London and you've actually got a name for yourself down there. You've had success already. You get a lot of northern actors going out of London for 5 years, doing well, and then moving back up north with a bit of money in their pocket as well because it's cheaper to live up here. But they've already established themselves down south. It's very difficult to land a London agent, if you've not done that. I guess it would help for you to have a southern base, definitely. Equally, I mean, it applies to anywhere though. My voiceover agent's based in Manchester. I can get a voiceover gig literally in 15 minutes notice. Laura will text me and go, Ross, this has just come in last minute. Can you get into town? Because she knows I am only 20 minutes away from the studio. Equally, I could be in Newcastle and that just wouldn't be possible. So I think distance to your agency or to a studio or to a production facility, is really important in terms of it's not, the be-all and end-all, but you will get more work if you are closer to the place of work, because you can go much quicker. It's not like, well, I can get there, but I'll be 5 hours. So it's interesting. You can have my address. Okay, Dawn. I think I've got your address when I was about to send you that phone case somewhere on Facebook. But yeah, I don't know. How far away you are from stuff, but you probably don't want to be moving house just to be closer to a studio on the off chance. But yeah, I think it does help. Let's see what else is going down on Facebook. I think Chris Edge, shout out to you, just sent me an email about a plugin to help me collate all these comments. So I will check that out. Chris, cheers for that, mate. Alex said he started out on extra work, but there came a point where he didn't want to do it anymore. I think that there does come a point where you don't want to do it anymore, Alex. And obviously, there has to be if you want to make progression. Can't do it forever, can you? But I think everybody, when they're first starting out, should do it for I don't know, half a dozen times. And it's all right pay, It's not bad. If you do something, do a bit of extra work on Coronation Street, in Manchester here, depending on what you're doing, it's about 150 quid a go, and it's just a good laugh, isn't it? I used to get paid £5.75 to sell an hour to sell computer games to idiots. I'd rather have done extra work back then. Broderick, Jason is saying, some even have trouble with me having an Irish accent. London agents. Yeah, I mean, I think if you can, I think a lot of people will get hung up on accents, Jace, don't they? And they're like, you know what? I had a load of people at my drama school who were like, right, I've come here to get rid of my accent. And then, they try to just come out of drama school just RP. And that was their main goal. I'm like, well, that's just ridiculous. You're completely diluting actually what you are. And so many casting directors have said to me, that they cast people for what they are, not what they can be. Michael Jackson said that to me from Beverly Keogh Casting. He's like, look, we cast people for what they are, not what they can be. So you figure out what you are, and you become the best version of that possible. So they know that you are that guy if they want to go, to that guy. And you look at other Irish actors who've just done incredibly well. There's a shitload of them. I just saw what's his face? Emmett Scanlon just landed a new role in what's it called? The Split. I think Beverly Keogh just cast it. I think it's a BBC or an ITV drama. That Jane Featherstone, her company, sister something. Jane used to be at Kudos. She was an executive producer at Kudos, I think. Huge name in the industry. Set up her own production company. I think it's called Sister. And they're doing something called The Split. And yeah, I noticed that Emmett's name was in that. He's an Irish actor who's done very well. Trained as a geography teacher, decided to go into acting. Done all right for himself, really. So yeah, wouldn't get too hung up on accents at all. Agent, he said Irish agent. Irish agent, Regan. What? So is that? Oh, agent. I think my accent is one of my biggest selling points. Oh, I thought you were talking about, wanting to not use your Irish accent. I was going to say, yeah, no, you should do that. I know loads of people, though. Went to uni with a guy called Wes. Proper Geordie guy, like that. And he was dead set on just getting rid of it. I'm like, man, it's like a massive selling point. You want to use that. It's not so much of a big selling point in voiceover, be honest with you. If you can neutralise your accent for VO, you will get more work. There's not as much regional work as there is for general Southern or general Northern kind of English voices. But in acting, yeah, it's a massive selling point, man. Definitely dine out on that, Jace, 100%. It's the opposite for me, English in Ireland. So what? So Bobby, your English accent in Ireland. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And how did you get over to Ireland? Why did you move over there? It's an interesting move. I've never been to Ireland. You know what? I should check it out. Where are you, Bob? Are you in Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland? And what's going to happen when we Brexit? What the hell's going to go on there? Will we even be allowed to Southern Ireland? I'll answer that question in a second, Tony. That's a good question. Yeah, Bobby, let us know why you moved to Ireland from the UK, mate. I'm interested to know. Not as criticism, by the way. I don't think it's a bad move. I just want to know why you went over. Let us know. He's probably typing. Tony's question in the meantime was, what do I wish 24-year-old Ross knew? Hello from Sweden. Someone just said, hello, Sweden. Bobby's parents are Irish. We're based in Wicklow in the south, Southern Ireland. Sounds nice. Don't know what Wicklow is. Anywhere where you were from, Jace? Wicklow? Do you know it, mate? Let us know. There's going to be civil war, Jason says, in Ireland. It's all going to be bloody kicking off again. I hope not. We've had enough of that. Bobby's been here since he was 8, never lost the accent. You keep hold of the English accent, Bobby. You know, it's. I'm sure the ladies love it over there. I love an Irish accent though. I think we all just love people with accents that aren't our own, don't we? So Tony, what do I wish I knew at 24? Hello, someone, love. All right. What do I wish I knew at 24? Do you know what I wish? This is what I wish I knew. That actually, you know what? No one, and I mean nobody, no matter how old or no matter how high up they are in this industry or in life in general, has a fucking clue what they are doing. Everybody is blagging it, and you should not be afraid of anybody because they all have the same fears, the same insecurities, the same trepidation as you. And you'll realise that as you get older, you're like, actually, you know what? You know, I'm 34 now, and when I look at, like, you know, when I was 20, what I thought a 34-year-old would know and do and be capable of, I'm like, actually, you know what? I am more capable. I've had a lot more life experience, but I'm still blagging a lot on my life in terms of every day going, I don't know how this is going to work out. You know, these are my goals. Like we said before, I've set this goal, Tony. This is where I'm going. But bloody hell, it's never straightforward life, is it? So I wish at 24 I hadn't been afraid of asking for things, or I hadn't maybe been as fearful of what seemed to be authority, agents, casting directors, writers. As you get to know these people right at the top of the tree as well, they all have the same insecurities as us. I spoke to Debbie Horsfield. She wrote this drama that I'm doing in a couple of weeks. Debbie Horsfield also wrote Poldark, you'll know from BBC. What's Tony saying? I tend to put my mentors on a pedestal. No, honestly, they're all the same, mate. They're all the same. I say this all the time. Everything, all the information and stuff that I give away here, you know, the guidance and stuff that I give on all the Periscopes, Bulletproof Factor, it's all stuff that I've learned via getting it wrong. It's not stuff I was kind of born with. I mean, the stuff is incredibly valuable, but it's not because, you know, I was born with this esoteric knowledge. It's like, I've got everything wrong and I've blagged my way for so long that I'm like, right, that all went wrong, but I learned from this. And every time you fail, you learn. There's that quote in it, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And I just kind of live by that. There's no losses. You just learn every time. But yeah, so Debbie Horsfield, anyway, yeah, she wrote Poldark. She's wrote this thing called, she wrote Cutting It, and she's wrote this thing called Age Before Beauty as well that I'm going to start in a couple of weeks. She came up to me after the read-through of the episode 1 down in London. We went for the read-throughs down there. She came up after episode 1. She went, oh, I feel I can talk to you now. She goes, every time I'm at a read-through for a new project that she's written, she feels that, you know, that project, that first episode that's going to be read, is the one where everybody suddenly finds out that Debbie's a fraud and she can't write. And she's got all those insecurities now. And she's won BAFTAs, this woman, coming out of her ears. Incredible writer. Really good. This show that I'm going to do, the writing in it is phenomenal. So good. It's like funny as hell in parts, but it's heartbreaking in other parts. She's got that kind of balance exactly right. It's a bit like, you know, the greatest writing on earth makes you do that. Laughing 1 minute, crying the next. And she had all these insecurities where she's like, I feel I'm going to be found out as an imposter, and I actually am no good at this. So I just wish that I'd have known that at 24, that no matter how high up in the industry you get, you know, everybody's human ultimately. And also, if you ask for help, 95% of the time I would say you're going to get it. 5% of the time it's not possible because people are very, very busy in the industry, and they can't, they just don't have time. Sometimes I have to field emails from people. I'm like, I'm so sorry right now. I'm going to have to say no to this request, but it's not because, like, you know, I'm being horrible. Please email me back in like 3 months or something like that, you know, and I'll try and hook something up for you. And that's fine, but I ask people for stuff all the time now. And I give a lot as well. But I get a lot, you know, literally just by asking, because I think as human beings, good human beings, we just want to help other people, don't we? And I was very afraid at 24 to ask for stuff, Tony, to ask for what I wanted from my life. And I've said that famous quote millions of times on these Periscopes, but life will pay any price you ask of it. So what are you asking for? And I just wasn't asking for enough. Shortly after my 24th birthday, things got real. I found out, you know, I had a bit of trauma through my 24th year. I lost my dad, found out I had this eye disease, blinding me effectively. Shit got real. and I started asking for stuff. But yeah, I wish it hadn't have taken that for me to actually realise that kind of stuff. Jason says he does know Wicklow. It's the other side of the country, and Jason's from Cork. So there you go, Bobby. Jason, Bobby, not that far away from each other. Although Jason's in London, so actually you are quite far away from each other. Let's have a look. What else has anybody asked? I think Chris just said something like, "Do I want an intern?" Chris, you know what? I don't really have anything for you to do right now, but if people do want to help me out, definitely drop me an email, Chris, ross@actonthis.tv. Are you any good at editing? Always need people to, potentially help with editing things sometimes. Make me more efficient, particularly on a project that I'm about to embark on next month, where you're going to be seeing a lot more of me online. It's going to require a lot more editing, though. So yeah, editing's always helpful if people can use Final Cut on a Mac or Adobe Premiere. Anyone out there who likes editing, give me a shout. Let's have a look. Corey's asking Dawn some questions. Nice. So what? When you say asking for stuff, Alex says, what do you mean exactly? I mean anything in life I want, Alex. In the industry, out of the industry. So if I actually wanted an audition, or I wanted, to learn something from the industry, I would always be afraid of asking for it. Things changed, like I said, when shit got real when I was 24, and I just started going, you know what, I have nothing to lose. I've just seen my dad die in 24 hours. I've got fuck all to lose, because you know what, this could just happen to anybody. I'm just going to start asking for stuff, because what's the worst this person can say to me? No, and I just don't care, because at the end of the day, none of it actually matters. And I just got on the phone then at that point, and I phoned a casting director. I phoned multiple casting directors, and I said, look, I design websites. I notice you haven't got a website, or the website you have got is rubbish. I'm prepared to do you a website for free if I can come in and shadow you and work with you on some castings, because I have no idea how it works, and I really want to understand. So I just started asking, and I just started getting more and more things, because I was literally just asking for them. And that's just how life works, ultimately. People want to say yes, because it's flattering, isn't it, if people are like, you know what, I can help this person. Anyone here being seen for Mary Queen of Scots, desperate for an audition? I haven't, Chris. No, don't know much about it, to be honest. Anyone can help Chris out, let him know. What was that quote, mate? Jason said. Yeah, so yeah, like Jason, it's life will pay any price you ask of it, but what are you asking for? So an example of that was when a homeless guy asked a mentor of mine for 20 pence, and he reached into his pocket, and he had obviously a lot more than 20 pence in his pocket, but this homeless guy had only asked for 20p, because he was so used to people giving him 20p, because he was begging. That's what people would kind of give him, the average amount. He just said, can you spare me 20p, mate? Where's his pocket? Amongst a load of £2 coins, £5 notes, £10 notes, whatever, found a 20p, gave it him, and he said, listen, the moral of that was, ultimately, if he'd have asked for a fiver, I'd have probably give it him. This guy's very wealthy anyway, but he's like, he didn't. He just asked for 20p, because that's all he expects life to pay. Had he asked for more, I would have been prepared to pay more that day, but he didn't. So that was kind of like a bit of an analogy for everything, really. What are you, seriously, guys, what are you actually asking life for? Because so many people have so little expectations of what life is going to pay them. They're so used to, they've got such limiting beliefs around what they deserve, what they're capable of, and they just ask for nothing. And then what do they get? Well, they get nothing. When you start asking life for more in every way, in your health, your finances, your relationships, your career, your spirituality, your emotional mastery, every part of your life, you're going to get more. But a lot of people don't want to ask for anything. They're like, you know what, I'm happy with my lot. I've got a fixed mindset. I don't feel that I can grow any more than I am. I've got a fixed IQ, fixed ability, fixed talent. I'm only ever going to be able to get an agent like this, or this casting director is never going to see me because they only see people like this, and I'm not that. And I've got all this bullshit. It's why I do Bulletproof Factor, to basically rid people of all of this crap that just completely ruins their life, ultimately. And they go through life regretting yesterday, worrying about tomorrow, missing out on today. They die having never lived. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Start asking for more. And Alex says, yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get. Well, you don't, Alex, but a lot of people say that. Oh, yeah, you don't ask, you don't get, but they still don't ask. They still don't ask, what is it? What is it? People say, like, I don't know if I've got any limiting beliefs about myself or this kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, what have you done this week? What have you asked life for? Nothing. I'm like, well, you have then, because you've got massive limiting beliefs around actually what life is going to pay you. Let's have a look. What does everyone here need help with? We can start a thread in the Facebook group. Yeah, good idea. So if you're watching for the first time, or you are listening on the replay for the first time, or you just found this on Twitter for the first time, I run a Facebook group called, Act On This. So I run a main website, actonthis.tv, where I do industry interviews with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, directors, writers, producers in the industry. I'm going to start doing a lot more of those once Bulletproof Actor closes on Friday. So the registration for Bulletproof Actor, which is a high-performance mindset program that I coach actors on once a year, literally life-changing. Go and check out bulletproofactor.com if you want to enroll. You've got until midnight this Friday. When that closes, you're going to get a brand new industry podcast with some incredible guests, one a week for the next 6 weeks at least. There's going to be so much more content on actonthis.tv. I've got some brilliant guests lined up, writers of huge shows, actors from huge shows. I've got a great producer. I've got the head of one of the major networks' drama department. Loads and loads of stuff on there. So check out actonthis.tv as well. Kevin says, yeah, believe it, ask for it, and go get it. Exactly, Kev. With you on that one, man. But you've got to ask. That's the part that people find the hardest. So many actors and human beings find asking for help really difficult. Really difficult. It just takes them out of their comfort zone, literally just asking for some kind of help. And it's so sad because 9 times out of 10, well, I'll say 8 times out of 10, if you ask, you would get. Chris wants me to get Susie Figgis in. I'm sure I can make that happen, man. We could definitely get a podcast with Susie. I'm sure of that. I'll sort that out. Still waiting for a podcast on woo-woo magic. Yeah, I don't do any woo-woo magic. Anything I coach on mindset is science-backed, positive psychology. I'm not going to do any woo-woo, the secret, the magic, the this, that, and the other. Although there is a bit of science behind those things. I don't do any of that, Tony, unfortunately. It's all legit, unfortunately. It's not like, I'm just going to put it out there to the universe. I want a Ferrari. I want a Ferrari. Oh, look. No, there isn't a Ferrari there because I've done fuck all to try and get one. Don't work like that. What about abracadabra magic, says Steve? Not that either, mate. Definitely not a magician. Got a lot of respect for magicians, but it ain't me. I'll stick to the acting. Alex says he's thinking of writing to casting directors, but should I wait until... No, should I wait until I have a show reel? What's the point, Alex? Right, tell me this, everybody. What is the point of just putting off anything that you could do today until tomorrow? Really, if it's like, you can always do it next week when you have got that thing anyway, or next month when you've got that thing together. Alex, that's just bullshit procrastination there. It's practicality. No, it's not. It's fear dressed up as practicality. Which actually equals procrastination. It's not even dressed up as procrastination. So what it is there is your fear of reaching out to somebody and either facing rejection or not hearing back from an agent or something like that, or a casting director. That fear, and it is, mate, it just is, promise you this is what it is, even if you're not conscious of it, is then masquerading itself as practicality. Well, I can't write to that casting director yet because I don't have a show reel. Or I can't write to that casting director yet because my headshot's 3 months old and maybe I've changed a bit, I should get a new one. Or I can't really write to that casting director yet, because I'd like to send it from this new email address that I'm going to set up. Or whatever bullshit that is. Everybody on here needs to realise there is no right time to do anything. There just isn't. There is never, ever, ever going to be a right time to do anything. Okay? Trust me, I've tried so many times to figure out the right time to do things in my life, and there's always things come up in my life that have got in the way. Planning this Bulletproof Actor launch has been so difficult because I was like, right, I'm thinking I'm going to, launch it around about June. I've been incredibly grateful because I've ended up with loads of work at this time as well. So I've had a lot of voiceovers recently. I've got this drama that I'm going to start filming on the 14th. It would have been lovely to go, I'm going to have like a 3-week, 4-week, I don't know, kind of like spate of nothing. I can just focus on Bulletproof Actor, maximize that, get as many people into the course, change as many lives as I can. Just ain't going to happen. It's like there's always going to be things coming up in the way. I'm going to have to reschedule things. There's always going to be times where I feel overwhelmed. Because there's just loads of things to do effectively. So there's never a right time. But the beautiful thing about there never being a right time, everybody, is it actually means that by default, it is always the right time. So you can always go into everything you do, Alex, knowing that it's the right time to do it. So I would go, right, well, if I just have a headshot right now and my CV, or whatever it is, and I'm literally all I have is a headshot right now. I am going to write to these casting directors anyway, purely for nothing else but to introduce myself. All I'm going to do is write a short email going, hey, I'm just getting, I'm in the middle of shooting a show reel. Right now, I don't have it, but I didn't want to wait. Just shows that actually you're hungry, Didn't want to wait. I just wanted to reach out very briefly and just introduce myself. My name's Alex. I'm this 20-odd-year-old actor from Manchester. I've trained here, or I've done this, or whatever you've done, mate. Just want to send my headshot. If you're doing any kind of generals, would love to be, seen for anything. I'll take anything, a line, anything. And as soon as my show reel's done, I'll be sending it through. Look out for it. Thanks ever so much for your time, Alex. Boom, point of contact. You can then send them a point of contact on Twitter. That's 2 touch points. Statistically, we know in business, roughly takes 3 touch points to get somebody to really notice you and actually reply. So that might mean an email, might mean a tweet, and an Instagram DM. And then that person might get back to you. A lot of actors just screw it up because they send an email and that's it, and they don't get a reply, and they go, oh, well, that person obviously hates me. No, they don't. They're just busy, So don't just rely on email either, You should always, look for multiple touch points as well. And I did a Periscope not long ago. I wonder if I've still got this here to show you the power, the compound interest, if I've still got it. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to click this button. Hopefully you're going to see a slide. There you go. This is compound interest, Alex, of actually, just getting shit done. Actor 1 sends a tweet a day to promote themselves, or maybe a tweet to an agent or a casting director, or just a tweet in general going, here's a new show reel scene I've shot. They send 1 Instagram direct message a day. Maybe they search for the hashtag short film, do a location search on Instagram, short film, Manchester, and then they DM all the short filmmakers in Manchester, 1 a day. And then they send 3 emails a week. That gives them, over the course of a year, 884 points of contact or touch points. Actor 2, Alex, which is most actors, lazy as hell, moaning about how hard life is, they send just 2 emails a month, and that's 24 points of contact a year, or 24 touch points. Thus, it would take Actor 2 37 years to do what Actor 1 does in a year. So effectively, you can end up with a 36-year head start on your competition if you just start taking your fucking career seriously, guys. Seriously. It's like, I just don't get it. I don't get it how people can't realise this. That if you want to get anywhere, you've got to do stuff. But unfortunately, because the acting industry is all about you selling yourself, people just don't want to do it. They don't want to put their own products out there because it's them. I promise you, it'd be so different if you were selling a T-shirt, Alex, in River Island. I bet you can, because Alex works in River Island. I bet you don't give a shit about promoting those. Someone will come in, walk up the stairs in River Island, you're like, oh, anything I can help you with? Yeah, I'm looking for a black T-shirt. And you'll be like, man, we just got these amazing black T-shirts in. Check this out. We got this one. What's this one? What's your size? Do you want to try it on? Let me help you out with that. Because it ain't you. Nothing's on the line. You're selling a product, which is a T-shirt. For some reason, when that product becomes you, people just freak out, man, and they just can't do it. And you've got to be your biggest fan in this industry. Otherwise, you have lost. It's just losing DNA. You've either got winning DNA or losing DNA. You've got it both. You've got both types inside of you. You've just got to let your winning DNA shine through. Make sure your grammar is good, though. Bad grammar makes you look unprofessional, says Chris. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's basic stuff there, man. Everyone's got a spell checker on their computer as well. There's no excuse. And please, don't copy and paste anything, because it happened the other day. Someone copied and pasted into my voiceover agent when I was there. They'd obviously been sending a bit of a round robin of CVs out or whatever to try and get representation. And yet again, they copied and pasted the wrong name in, and it's just, I mean, I think casting directors will get it and they might forgive you on the odd occasion, but I know some that are ruthless and will just delete it straight away. They go, you can't even be asked to write me a bespoke message. Just, you're dead to me. I'd be a little bit like that. I think I'm a little bit harsh. I'm like, look, if you want to reach out to me and you want some help, or you want to sell me something or whatever, at least make it look like you've done a bit of research and you care and you know who I am. So don't copy and paste anything, mate. But yeah, honestly, Alex, reach out, mate. Reach out. What have you got to lose? By the position you're in right now, what do you actually have on the line? What have you lost? So many people say this. I don't want to write to a casting director because... I'm going to have some like coffee in a minute. I don't want to write to a casting director because I don't really know what to write, and then I'm going to upset them and they're never going to give me an audition. And I go, right, okay, are they giving you auditions now? No. Well then, you ain't got anything to lose. You basically... You are then consciously choosing to never have an audition, as opposed to sending something, trying out, and maybe losing. But you won't be losing, you'll be learning. So choice is yours. But by actually not sending anything, it's your fault. All the buck stops with you. Don't point fingers at all these other people for why your career's not working. Turn it around on yourself, because you're not doing anything. And you have nothing to lose. Right now, you have nothing anyway. So if you don't hear anything back, then you're in the same position. It's not like Theresa May decides she's going to, pop up a snap election. She had quite a lot to lose, and bless her, it sort of backfired quite spectacularly for her. Let's have a look. Jason says, Ross, tell your people to check out Mailshake. Tell us about that, Jason. So he says, Mailshake, it's an email outreach app that removes the need to copy and paste. It allows you to plug in a database of contacts and set a template, then one by one personalize it and send it out. It will also track responses and opens, and you can even A/B test your templates. That's brilliant. That's really useful to know, Jace. I didn't know that, mate. So Mailshake, everybody, brought to you by Jason Broderick, actingbusinessbreakthrough.com. But yeah, that's awesome. So for those who don't know what A/B split testing is, this is really useful. I would always suggest people split test their correspondence that they're sending out. And what that means, don't get confused by this. I think it's complicated. It's not. A lot of actors will sit down and they'll go, right, on Monday, I'm just going to spend the whole day mailing out to casting directors. And what they end up doing really is sending the same email to maybe 12 casting directors. Now, if there's something that's fundamentally flawed in that email and it's the same in all 12, you're actually kind of like putting all your eggs in one basket. If something is flawed in that email, then you might not get a reply from any of them. What I would suggest you do is you send 3 out initially. And then if you hear nothing, to the next 3 people you get in touch with, tweak it a little bit. See if there's something you can change. And see if you get a better response. And if you do, then you would send that second email out to the next 3. See if you continue to get a good response. A/B split testing allows you to set up 2 templates. And it will just send out randomly 6 of the first template to 6 people, and then for the second 6 people, it'll send out a different template, and then it will give you the results, and it'll probably be able to track clicks or whether they opened it and that kind of thing, so you can see from a more of a business perspective whether your correspondence is actually making its mark. Alice says that sounds great. Yeah, it is. I mean, I use that in internet marketing, so anytime you get emails from me, that's kind of like ultimately how I get my message out there for my business, and and getting you guys to engage with the content that I'm putting out. Sometimes I will send to half my list one email, to the other half of the list another email, just try and figure you guys out to go, actually, what's resonating with them, because I want to serve you, give you the most value that I can. Now, I can't do that unless you're actually opening my emails and looking forward to my emails. If every time an email drops into your inbox from me, you're like, oh, fuck off, it's Ross again, can't be arsed with that, I ain't doing my job. You're potentially missing out on some really great content. So neither of us are winning there. So actually split testing your correspondence and seeing what works for your audience is really important. So Mailshake. Cheers, Jace. I'm going to even check that out myself, man. I think that's really useful. See, this is good. This is a very collaborative open Q&A tonight. Right, we've got 5 minutes left till 10 o'clock. Your emails always sound personal to me, Ross, says Dawn. Dawn, they always are to you. Send you a separate one, all of your own. I don't really, but I do try and make it as ultimately, you know what? And this ties into your correct question, Chris. So Chris just said, how did you get Act on This to take off? He's setting up something called the Casting Space, which is kind of a replacement for Screen Terrier. Good evening, Brian. Have I got any tips for him for how to make it start off? I'll tell you the biggest mistake that I made in business ever, and everybody take heed from this, and also all actors take heed from this as well. This is the biggest mistake I have ever made, and that was trying to pretend I was bigger than I actually was. So when I first set up Act on This, it was from a spare bedroom, ultimately pretty much a room similar to what I'm in now, but not even as good as this, and it was me. It was me on my own. It was 7 years ago. It was me on my own. I had this idea for this community and this site that I was going to host interviews on. I knew nothing about web development. I didn't even know how to register the name of the website, the domain name, and link it all together. It took me like a year to get it all together. Finally put it out. And I thought, you know what? This industry's so cynical. And people will be thinking I'm like, some kind of like, I don't know, I'm not trustworthy or something. I've got to pretend I'm bigger than I am. I thought, you know what? If I just say, hey, look, I'm just this actor who's trying to do, what you guys are doing, and I'm just on my own, effectively. I'm not a company. I'm not a big corporation. I thought no one will take me seriously. No one will want to be on the show. Actors won't want to sign up for it. So I started sending all my emails out, Chris, as from the Act on This team. And I started saying all my articles would be like, we're doing this. Hey, guys, act on this. We do this and we do that and all that kind of stuff. And nobody was really engaging with my content at all. And I remember I got to the end of my tether 6 months in. I'd had zero engagement practically, and I was putting my heart and soul into this business. And I sent an email out. I probably still got it, I probably still got the template somewhere. And it was just titled, the subject line was just titled, "What am I doing wrong?" And I poured my heart out into this email. And I went, guys, I've got a confession to make. I think I had about 250 people on my email list by this point. I said, look, I've been trying to pretend I'm bigger than I am because I didn't think any of you lot would trust me. I thought no one would take me seriously. I didn't think anyone in the industry would want to be interviewed by me. There's no team behind this. There's no company. It's me. It's effectively me from my spare bedroom at home. What am I kind of doing wrong? Is it this or is it something else? Do you not like the content? Is it not resonating with you? Am I not serving you well enough? And I got it was insane. I went from getting no replies to my emails. That one email, I think I got over 120 replies from an email list that was only 250 strong. So nearly 50% of people actually spent time writing me a response back. And they all were like, wow, we actually had no idea. If you'd have just said from the start, this is what you were trying to do, and you were doing it all on your own, because I am, to this day, I do all this on my own. I don't have any video editors. I don't have any web kind of developers, content creators, anything like that. Anything you see on Acts on This, all the interviews, me. I edit them, I shoot them, I record them. It's my life. I got all these replies from people going, wow, we'll support you. What can I do to help? Is there anything I can help you? Oh, tweet me and I'll retweet it for you, or I'll spread the word. Have you got any flyers, all this kind of stuff? And I was like, wow, massive breakthrough for me is be authentic to yourself. This advice you'll get off people, fake it till you make it, is the biggest load of bullshit you will ever hear in your life. It will only cause you to lose. If you are authentic and you are like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm setting up this thing called the casting space. I'm just an actor like you guys. I've got this idea. I used to like Screen Terrier. Screen Terrier is gone now. I'm going to try and replace it with this. Would love some help and support. A retweet would mean the world to me. And you're just really open and honest, Chris. People are going to just relate to that so much more. I'm like, absolutely. And I hope anyone who's met me at the Acts on This meetups or anything that I've done or anyone I've coached in real life, what you're seeing right now, I am no different. No, and I would be gutted if anybody thought I was otherwise. This is absolutely what you see is what you get. I do genuinely care about people. The reason I'm on a Periscope at 10 o'clock at night for free on a Monday and a Wednesday night to help everyone in the community, because I love it. Genuinely want to help people. My philosophy is you will get everything you want out of your life by helping other people get what they want out of theirs. It just works. It's magical things happen in your life when you live by a philosophy like that. And that for me was a turning point, Chris. So I would say if you've got anything on your website right now, and also actors, please, if you've got a website, don't write in the third person. It sounds so shit. Don't write, welcome, like me having a website going, welcome to Ross Grant's website. Ross Grant is an actor from Manchester. He has been seen on this and this and this. Oh, it sounds so shit. Please, if you're just like, people see through it anyway. Unless you are very famous, people see through that bullshit anyway. Just go, hi, welcome to my website. So grateful for you stopping by. I'm an actor from Manchester. Right now, I'm striving for this. I've just filmed an episode of this. You'll be able to see me in this in May. Or if you want to check out my show reel, click here. Have it all personal. Don't have it so clinical and third person, because you just sound stupid. People see through that. Unless you're a name, you're never gonna have it. No one's ever gonna write you a website in the third person anyway. And just be authentic. Be yourself. It's so empowering as well when you don't give a, you've got to get to the point where you ultimately don't care. IMDb profile's a little bit different. So IMDb profile is a public-facing CV kind of page. You can write, that's one thing I would say, you can write your IMDb profile and a Wikipedia page in the third person. But your own website, never. your own Twitter bio or your Instagram bio. Never. Oh God, people who have like, people who've done no work in their life and have like it'd be like me going at Ross Grant official, at the real Ross Grant or something like that. I've worked on some really good TV shows. I'd still never do that. I would never ever. It just sounds so pretentious and shit. Be authentic. Be yourself. It's all right to just be you. You're enough as you are. You have to pretend you're any bigger than you are in your acting career, your life, or your business, Chris. So anything you've got on your website or your social media for the casting space that's trying to, play with the big boys, hit it up there. I've got to seem dead big or they won't take me seriously. You'll grow way, way faster if you actually just kind of like, be authentically you. And you'll feel like you've got way more integrity as well. You'll feel better about yourself. I hated almost kind of like lying to people about, or we and the team and this. Oh, it makes me cringe when I think of the emails I used to send out. That's right, just be yourself, Ross, says Corey. It's so true. Honestly, it's so true. And it just, it cuts through everything I do in my life. When I go into an audition, it's just like this, absolutely what you see is what you get. And people, it just resonates. You click with people, don't you? When you can just tell someone's genuine, you can look in their eyes and go, there's nothing put on it. This guy's just legit. It makes a massive difference. And the other side of it only comes from insecurity. You've got to get yourself to a point where it's almost like, for me, I care so much about what other people think of me because I want everyone to think that I'm a really, a good guy because that's what I am. It's what I try and be every day of my life. I'm not perfect. I mess up sometimes, but so I do care. But on the other hand, I really couldn't give a shit about what people think if they don't think that, because I know in my heart of hearts that my intention is always pure, and that's what I am trying to be. So if I ever get a bad comment on YouTube or on Facebook or Twitter. I was on an interview that I did on YouTube, and I had a celebrity on YouTube, and this person was obviously just a fan of the celebrity, and they just wanted to hear the celebrity talk. They didn't care about me. I'm the interviewer. But they wrote some comments on that YouTube video that were like, "Oh, wish that guy had stopped talking. Oh, I don't want to hear from him. God, he just never stops going on. I can talk, right? He never stops going on. Oh, it'd be so much better if you just let that person talk." But that's just like water off a duck's back. I'm like, I know my intention for that interview was so pure and was just like a force for good, to help other people who were watching it. I know if someone doesn't think that's what it is because they're just a fan of this person, it's fine. They're not even the audience I was trying to reach. But a lot of people will be crushed by that and they go, "Oh God, right, someone said something negative about me on Facebook or YouTube. I can never put anything out again." And it's bullshit. So you've got to care about what other people think, but at the same time, you've got to not give a shit. And that takes a little bit. For me, it came with age. Kind of came when I was about 29, 30 years old. That started happening in my life. I think in my early 20s, that'd be pretty difficult. We kind of crave significance. The life zone we're in our 20s is significance, where we kind of want to feel we're worthy and, we're making our dent in the universe. And if anyone criticizes us, we hate it. In your 30s, you're not really looking for that. You're looking for more of a life stage of connection with people and people who matter. And those people who give you comments like that just don't matter. So yeah. And Corey just said, if you've nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Well, that's true. Another part of me is like, wow, this person has cared so much. They felt they actually had to spend time writing a YouTube comment. I did an animation once. I did 72 episodes of an animation for Netflix, and it was brilliant, right? Go and watch it. Wakfu, WAKFU. Beautifully animated series. Now, we dubbed this from French into English. The French was a huge cult hit in America where everyone watched it with subtitles. They watched the French and they read the subtitles, and it was massive. The company raised $1 million to dub it into English. We dubbed it into English. I didn't get all of the $1 million, unfortunately. And I thought it was great. Go and watch it, Wakfu. I play a character on it called Percival, who's like this ginger-haired knight guy. He's crazy, mental. Very funny, though. And we put that out, and everyone was so proud of it. But the fanboys, the real hardcore fanboys of this show, were so set on the old dub, the old French version with subtitles, that they slated some of the episodes in this series, and there were 72 episodes. It was massive. Sir Percival, says Bobby. Absolutely, Sir Percival of Sadley Grove. And And I would get tweets from people going, oh, have you heard the dub for Wakfu? Oh, it's awful. No thanks to you, at Ross A. Grant. And I'm like, wow. Like, you know, I mean, again, I didn't care. I put my heart and soul into that project, and loads of feedback was great. But I was like, this person's got so riled. They're living with so much pain in here that the only way for them to feel better about themselves and their sad little lives is to try and bring this guy who's having more success than them down. Makes them feel better about themselves. So I'll let them actually have that from a compassion kind of level. Go, you know what? If you need that, then that's fine, because, like, you know, you can take that from me because I don't need it. I've got an abundance of energy. It's fine. You can have a bit of that if that's what you need to make yourself feel better about your life. So if anyone ever gives you any shit on social media, it is a reflection of them. They are living with pain in here, and you should pity people like that, because they're in a place of pain where the only way to feel better temporarily is to bring somebody else down. You know, you don't get people who are killing it in life and are really happy and have the relationship of their dreams, the job of their dreams, the friends of their dreams, financial security, you know, emotional well-being. You don't get those people spending time on Twitter going, you're a knob. Oh, that was shit. Oh, I could do better than that. You just don't. It's the same mentality as those, you know, overweight lager louts in a bar shouting at Cristiano Ronaldo on the TV, oh, that was shit. You're shit, mate. Going, mate, he's getting paid £150,000 a week to play football, one of the most talented kids in the world. And you're there, you know, you probably don't even have a job, drinking your can of, or your pint of Carlsberg, shouting at this guy, telling him he's shit. Well, he's a lot better than you, but he's so wrapped up in his own head and in so much pain himself that he has to try and, you know, rip Ronaldo down because it makes him feel better about his own sad little life, which will be so much better. So what he does there, he fulfills his human need for significance. Unfortunately, this is why violence will never go away. The quickest way to gain significance in your life, to feel significant, is to get violent, unfortunately. So the person who feels so insignificant in the world and like society doesn't care about them, they have nothing to offer, they crave significance. Quickest way to get it is to, like, pull a knife out on you, put a gun to your head, because suddenly they are God. You know, they can look in your eyes, you know, and they literally, you know, can choose whether they end your life or not. They get so much significance from that. So the people who slate you on Twitter and Instagram or whatever on a really smaller scale are in the same situation. Like, you know what, for me to get violent and shout at you, it gives me the significance, because it's much harder for them to go and get that significance in a positive way by doing something people will praise them for. It's really hard. It's much easier to just go, I'm going to slate this person, get my significance that way. So yeah, cut a long story short, care what people think, because you always want to be, you know, the best person you can be. But if they don't think good of you or whatever, don't give a shit about it. There'll be plenty of people who do care, you know, and do think you're a great person. Whew! So that's July's Ask Me Anything done. Grant Cardone says success leads to more problems, so it's almost a good thing when we get haters. Yeah, I mean, I think if you have got people kind of hating on you a little bit, it means you're doing something right to a certain extent, because at least you're being noticed and you're getting attention. You know, if it was a tumbleweed moment and everything you put out got no responses at all. I operate from a place like this. This is another thing, Chris, and anyone who's setting up a business, please operate like this. And also in your acting career as well, if you're putting anything out on the internet, operate from a place where 1 is greater than 0. And what I mean by that is, you know, for me to get any viewers on my videos or on the replay, you know, on the replay of this scope, when I have a look on Twitter, there's normally like anywhere between, I don't know, 200 and 450 replay viewers on this. Same on YouTube and that kind of thing. Live, people dip in and out of it. You know, we've got 21 people on Periscope watching right now. Got 7 people on Facebook watching right now. And those numbers go up and down all the time. So these won't be the same 7 people who were on for the first half of this scope. These won't be the same 20 people who were on for the first half of the Facebook Live, etc. But I always operate from a place of like 1 is greater than 0. So even if you just have 1 viewer, everyone started off with 1 hit on their website, 1 view on their video, 1 like on their tweet, whatever it is. And then from there on, consistency is key. You've got to keep putting stuff out, and you've got to, you know, get to the point where you're getting 8 likes, you know, you're getting 17 views, 89 views, you know, 100 views or whatever. You're not going to get up to those thousands and those tens of thousands, millions of views if you don't operate from this place. So if it's like, well, you know what, do I put 10 minutes into doing this video on the off chance 1 person watches it? Yeah, that's worth it for me. Because that one person could be a producer, could be a director, could be somebody who's like, oh, I've got a business that might actually tie in with yours. And we can help each other. So Jason, who's on here tonight, runs a business kind of coaching service for actors. And obviously I do all the confidence stuff. So it's two completely separate things. I do Bulletproof Actor. He does the business breakthrough stuff. There's I saw one of his launches at some point. I can't remember who reached out first, Jason, you or me. But there was like synergy there to go, actually, you know what, we can kind of help each other. And I not put content out, or he hadn't put content out. I can't remember who got in touch with who first, but I wouldn't have seen it, or he wouldn't have seen it. And maybe I was the only one who saw it. Maybe Jason was the only one who saw that thing that I put out. But it was enough to form a partnership that's been really mutually beneficial for us. So you don't know who that one person is, Chris, on your website that you're starting out. Operate. 1 is greater than 0. Remember La La Land, where Mia thought no one came to her show, but a casting director loved it. Exactly. I ain't seen La La Land, but I know exactly the scene you speak about, because that's the scene they always used to show in the reviews. It is. That's really what it is. You just don't know who that one could be. So that's another thing as well. Perseverance. In order to get that site going, I didn't really start getting really decent traction with that on this. I don't know, 4.5, 5 years in. That's when it started happening. The first 2 years were utterly thankless, if I was honest with you. I'd get people signing up to my email list, guys, and they had to consciously sign up to it and click submit, and then I send them an email going, hey, I'm going to do a interview with this director from Emmerdale or Coronation Street, or something I was doing back in the day. And they send me a reply going, stop sending me this shit. And I go, whoa, you signed up. I didn't send you this because I just knew your email address off the top of my head. You signed up to get notifications of when I was putting out new features that at the time were completely free and going to help them in their career. People would still send me emails like that. Get this shit away from me. Like, what? Are you off your head? But again, it comes down to not caring, because they ain't the people you want to reach. Every time I get an unsubscriber from my email list, and I've had a score of them this week, because I've been sending out a lot of emails about Bulletproof Actor. And you're still going to get a few more, I'm afraid, guys, until Friday. If you don't like them, just delete them. Don't unsubscribe, because you're going to miss out on all this stuff that's coming down the line. Just ignore them. Delete them if you don't want them. That's what I do. If I get stuff that I don't want, it's not applicable to me right now. But yeah, I've had scores and scores of people unsubscribing this week because they're like, oh, Ross is pestering me for this thing. I feel if I'm not selling you this program at bulletproofactor.com, I'm doing you a disservice. My intent is pure. So I know, you know what? If I send you all these emails, I'm not trying to con you. I'm not trying to rip you off. My intent is so pure to try and help you change your life. And you will see from the testimonials, that's what it's done for over 100 actors so far. But for everyone who unsubscribes, in a way, I'm like, well, you know what? It's fine, because you were never going to be the audience that I am looking for. You're never going to be the person that I could affect. Maybe you're not ready for it right now. You don't want it right now. You're never going to want it. So it's fine to kind of wave those people goodbye. There's the whole notion of your vibe attracts your tribe. So whatever vibe you're putting out there should attract those kind of people. And they're the people you want to stay in your tribe. If people want to unsubscribe, they're probably never meant to be in my tribe. I would do it, but it's not financially viable for me at the moment, says Steve. Is that just a limiting belief as well, though, Steve? I'm only kidding, mate. No, for some people, it's not. Maybe, it just isn't. I don't think there, as I said, there will ever be a right time to do something. But maybe, for some people, there's you're not ready to do it right now. I get 3 lots from you, surviving actors, and Jason. I'm bombarded. Bless. Well, it's funny, you're in now, so you bought the program, so you shouldn't get, if my email tagging system is working properly, you shouldn't actually get any more emails from me promoting the course, unless you signed up to the course with a different email to the one that was already on the email list. I do try and make it so you don't get a load of shit, even if, you've bought the program. I think that's, that's not necessary. But apologies if you do. There will be always a few who get, through the net that way. But if you do want to join, you want to check it out, guys, bulletproofactor.com. There's currently, I think we've had over 50 people sign up already. It's open until Friday. I love that you're doing the program, Fanny, says Tony. And she doesn't mind. Fanny doesn't mind at all getting the emails. Awesome. Let's have a look. Jason said, mate, that just happened to me this morning. Somebody actually told me to go F myself and my false personal and my fake personal bullshit. But, honestly, Jace, when you get unsubscribed from your email list, mate, like that, I kind of celebrate it a little bit. Because I'm like, you know what, you were never meant to be in you're just never meant to be in my circle. Maybe my stuff just ain't right for you, and that's fine. I don't think everything I coach people on is right for everybody. People just might not resonate with them. I'm not saying this is it. The only way you can better your life is by, following the stuff I'm putting out there. I know it works because it's proven. I wouldn't have had the results with people I've had, but it's not going to resonate with everyone else. And there's other people out there who might be able to help them more. But celebrate people who leave or unfollow you on Twitter or whatever, because it just means, you're the people who are left, you're going to get more engagement from. You're going to ultimately have a better relationship with the ones who are left. If I had money to pay for it, someone would pay for it for you, Stephen, if they had money. I was accused of being a child molester publicly on Twitter. Bloody hell, funny. It's a bit extra, isn't it? My God. Is that just because you did an improvisation? I find there's a lot of improvisations. Gets a lot of attention, interacting work. But yeah, don't worry about people, saying shit. If your intent is always pure and you did it for the right reasons, then you're invincible ultimately. I got someone who was not happy with one of my Sunday videos all about positivity, says Tony. It's funny though, Tony, because they obviously chose to tune in, mate. It's crazy. Oh, it was Dawn who said they'd pay for it, Steve. You can pay in the multi-pay, Steve, £99 a month for 3 payments. Change your life, mate. Sometimes as well, I'm not saying this is not a sales thing. And if you really, anyone who's listening to this, who's I don't have the money to do this program right now, don't get into debt or screw yourself over. Don't do it. It'll be available in 2018. I think I can only do it once this year. It's the only time I can do it this year. I can't do it another time this year. I'm not going to have time. But sometimes, just remember this, in anything in life, sometimes the thing that you are saying you cannot do will never move. You will never break through until you do it. So as an example of this, for me to say, okay, I'll go to the gym when I feel better. When I feel more energetic, I will go to the gym. Ironically, if you just went to the gym, you would feel way more energetic. It's like you will never actually get that thing you are looking for to do that thing unless actually you skip it and just do that thing. So for people for finances, I've gone on programs before, online coaching programs, marketing events that have been £2,000 plus in one hit at a time where I didn't have £2,000 to invest into something like that. However, I knew until I actually invested that £2,000, I was very unlikely to learn the skills needed to make that £2,000 back. So it's almost like I've got to throw this money in, commit 100% to this program to learn the skills I need to earn that money back and a load more. And that's what I did to ultimately to teach me how to create the Bulletproof Factor program, literally how to create an online course. I spent over £2,000 on programs teaching me how to do that, knowing that the likelihood was if I did a great job and delivered a course that was insane value to people and really changed people's lives, I was going to earn more than that £2,000 back. And that's what happened the very first time that I launched that program back in February 2016. But had I not put that money up front, Steve, I would never have learnt those skills to generate that income again. So sometimes it's a bit of a catch-22. It's like you won't get the thing that you need to do the thing until you just do the thing. So a program like Bulletproof Factor costs you 279 quid, will teach you the skills ultimately to take the action required to go and get an acting job that's going to pay you more than 279 quid. But I do appreciate for some people, it just ain't possible. If you can't get that money from anywhere, it's not like you can, you're going to rob a bank, Steve, or something like that. Jason says PLF. Yeah, Jason, that was one of the things, mate. Yep, absolutely. 100%. As a student, I don't think I can't afford... Oh, what's that, Chris? Just made it work. So you didn't think you could afford the premium membership at Ats on This? So premium membership at Ats on This is a tenner a month or 90 quid for the year. It's like, I think pound for pound in the acting industry, it's the best thing you could ever do for your life, though. 10 quid a month, just £2.50 a week, gets you access now to, well, including the Periscope replays and stuff, over 400 hours worth of content that will really enrich and improve your life, as well as 200 hours of interviews with the biggest casting directors in the industry. So many people are like, how do I get in touch with such and such a body? Oh, I don't know what to write to them. I've got an hour and a 20-minute podcast with that casting director on Act on This, telling you exactly what you should write to them with if you want them to open your email. People like Jill Trevellick, Andy Pryor. Jill Trevellick cast Downton Abbey, Andy Pryor cast Doctor Who. They actually say, they give me specific examples of what actors should write in the subject line of the emails they're sending. Peter Hunt, head of casting at Hollyoaks, told me exactly what you should write, literally to the word, if you want him to open your email, and also what you never should write in your subject if you want him to open the email. And it's 10 quid a month, and people are still like, oh no. I mean, what else have you got better to invest in than actually hearing that knowledge from the people who will one day hopefully see you for a role that could change your life? It's just mental. I think people who don't subscribe are just off their heads. Tony's got a membership for something called the Artist Circle in the States. Can't imagine not being a member of that, he says. It's just like, honestly, guys, sometimes like people are completely backwards. They say they want something so much and they're not prepared to put £2.50 a week in. I would say to those people, you've lost. Unfortunately, you've just lost. 3 pints, says Chris. That's 3 pints. 10 quid a month. Yeah, it is, or it's 3 coffees from Starbucks. People won't go without those, though, and then they'll moan about why they've had no auditions for 6 years. And you go, well, that's because all you've done is spend your money on Starbucks, mate. And that's why you're still working your job that you hated 10 years ago today. You're still working for minimum wage. You're still telling me the acting industry is so quiet, there's no work around. And I'm telling you that every single day, practically, I write about a new commission for ITV Channel 4 or BBC on actonthis.tv. There's a shitload of work around for people who are prepared to get it. Boom! On that, I'm going to go. But yeah, that's the moral of the story. Oh, this has been useful. We've freestyled a lot. I know I've gone on with myself a lot. But yeah, Jason said, I've been paying you £4 a month. Oh yeah, you have, yeah. Oh no, so there is no... So Jason, because you got in early, mate, Act on This premium membership used to only be £4.95 back in the day. It's now a tenner a month. People who got in at £4.95, I reward them by letting them only ever pay £4.95. So that's loyalty there. Anyone who gets in at 10 quid, when that membership goes up to 15 quid a month, you'll still be only paying 10 quid a month for as long as you remember, as long as you don't let that subscription lapse. So yeah, anyone else? So who is it who pays 4 here? So Chris himself only pays $4.95 a month. Yeah. So as long as you don't let your credit card expire on PayPal, or if you use your bank account on PayPal, you don't change your bank account or something like that, you'll only ever pay that. There's some people who got in on a Black Friday deal I did in year 1 for 20 quid for the year. They pay like less than 2 quid a month for the membership. But as a reward for those people who backed me, who bought into me back in the day, of course I'm going to reward them. They don't pay any more than that because they were the ones who were like helping me out back then. Anybody who spends time on these Facebook Lives or on Periscopes, and ultimately all you lot have just invested an hour and 25 minutes into me. I don't forget that shit, right? I don't take it lightly that you're probably, should be in bed now, or you're going to go to bed straight after this and you've not watched your TV program you wanted to watch tonight or whatever, you spent this time with me. You're the guys who are going to get all the help from me when I can help you. It's one up, all up. If I get into a position where, I'm casting my own show one day, which could well happen, I'm writing with a really well-known person right now, a sitcom. If I get to a point where I'm like, I can cast people in this. Who am I going to cast? People I have no idea who they are, who have never actually invested in me or been a part of my life, or people who I know can do the job, have invested in me, have been with me from the beginning, have helped me, have supported me. I'm going to help those people. And this is why people should never complain when they're like, oh, that person wrote that sitcom and they just employed all their mates. Yeah, of course they did. Because that's exactly what you would do if you got in that position. It's what you should do. You should bring those people around you who you love and care about up with you when you get that opportunity. It would just be backwards to go, oh, I'm sorry, all these actor friends that I've got who have been with me for 10 years, nah, sorry, boys, I'm going to go and cast some people I've got no clue who they are. No, you should give the parts to those people. Don't be jealous of people who get parts because they know other people. They've done the work. They've been there for those people in whatever capacity over the years. And don't get bitter and twisted like that. It's bullshit. It will eat you up, and you are, ultimately, again, you're just showing losing DNA. Winners don't do that. They all help everybody. And Jason said he's paused Black Sails for me. Cheers, Jason. I don't even know what that is, but you can go and watch it again now. And Alex says very true. Awesome. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. If you've listened all this way on the audio experience, I salute you. Please send me a tweet at Ross A. Grant, at Act on This TV. Like I say, you've got until Friday at midnight to get Bulletproof Actor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success. I'm going to give a massive shout out on here right now to Sheridan Ward, who just signed up for the VIP version of Bulletproof Factor, Unstoppable Confidence, Infinite Success. Sheridan Ward, can't wait to welcome you to the program. Don't know if you're on the scope or you've been watching Facebook Live, but I've just seen your sign up come through, so massively appreciate you. Thank you, Tony. Says, grateful for my time. I'm grateful for your time, mate. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to go into publishing tools in Facebook so I can actually end this elegantly without flapping around. I can never end these Facebook Lives. I can end Periscope quite easily. Cheers, Lucy. Lucy's still here. Wow. Julia's still here. Julia, this is a new Bulletproof Factor member. Thank you so much for signing up, Julia. We're going to absolutely kill the next 5 weeks. You will not recognise yourself at the end of this training. I'm so excited. It's definitely probably the best 5 weeks of my year when I'm doing this coaching. Be prepared for some pretty long live calls though, guys. Some of them last time, they start at 7 o'clock. Some of them last year didn't finish till midnight. Going to try and maybe cut them off a little bit before that. But yeah, be prepared for some pretty insane, intense coaching. Oh, just forgot to turn the sound off on my laptop there. I was coming through as in stereo there. Awesome. Right. Gonna love you and leave you. Thank you for all your questions. We're gonna do this again next month. Wednesday night, I'm not gonna be doing a Periscope like this. We're actually gonna be doing this. Wednesday night, this is a free training on high performance mindset, again to celebrate the launch of Bulletproof Factor. It's going to be called the 4 external factors that are killing your acting career right now. I guarantee you won't be aware of any of these 4 things. It's a completely free training. There's going to be about an hour's worth of coaching, completely free content. At the end of that, I'm going to show people the full Bulletproof Factor program. Obviously, try and get people signed up to that. But the first hour of this, it's not like an entire sales pitch or anything like that, guys. I want to give you value. If you join me on Facebook Live, so it's on the Act on This Facebook page, facebook.com/Act on This TV. Also on Periscope, it will be live as well. I'm going to give you these 4 external factors that I know you're not aware of that are killing your career right now. If you sort these out, you stand such a better chance of having success. But this is going to be Wednesday night at 7 p.m. UK time. If you're on the mailing list, you'll be getting an email about that. But that's instead of Wednesday night's Periscope. It's going to be Wednesday night's book club. Sorry, it's going to be a presentation on that instead. So that's Wednesday, at 7 p.m. Awesome, massively appreciate you. Going to leave it there, but yeah, join me for that. Very excited and can't wait to welcome you to the full program. If you're up for really changing your life and career, I want you on board, man. Awesome. Right, going to love you and leave you. Bye for now.